Hey everyone, we have some updated D4 news. We're going to get into that coverage and I'm going to share with you what has been updated in D4 and what is new. And then please do me a favor and stick around to the end for my commentary and my take on what the updates were and the impact of D4 and the future of D4. So let's get right into it. Tonight, an update to D4 was installed. If you were on Battle.net, you would have seen a update to the game being downloaded, and behind me you see patch 1.3.1 that is now live with numerous game updates. And here are all the updates. I am not going to go over the whole patch, but the most notable being the infamous buff to the Seneschal's abilities. And as you can see here, Season of Construct, the following updates have been applied to the Seneschal's abilities, and basically all damage increases, the main skills and the supporting skills, all receiving anywhere from 10 to 60% damage buffs. So congratulations to the Seneschal. Your companion went from nerd to hero overnight and can now solo the biggest bosses in D4, SMH, and enjoy the industry-breaking content. On another note, also we have Pez Radar. Love Pez Radar. Adam Fletcher, we all know him. He made this recent PSA announcement, and let's just do a quick read here. Just a friendly PSA from the Diablo 4 team here. Hang on to unused Uber Uniques. The team has some plans for something in the future patch, which we'll share soon, but figured this heads up was warranted for those that may have some Uber Uniques they aren't utilizing. I'm sure all of us were dying to understand what we were going to do with all of the Uber Uniques that we have. They drop so frequent, it's just become routine to see all these Uber Uniques dropping, that finally we have something to look forward to. Sounds like all of our duplicate Uber Uniques, all of them, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what to do with them, are not going to be wasted. So there's a PSA about potentially something that we will be able to do with this plethora of duplication Uber Uniques that we have. Hurdle number one is the fact what is required to, and here's what you need here's what you need to do in order to fight Duriel. But that's hurdle number one. But even to put more salt on the wound, even if you were to put the hundreds of hours required to gather mats, enough mats to fight Duriel over and over, not endlessly, but over and over, is then once you do fight Duriel, the Uber Uniques are non-existent. Now, I have heard a small minority of the population, or at least what I've witnessed and have read, and some of the players that I know have farmed Duriel. And when I mean farm, I mean basically their whole life, 16, 17 hours a day, farming those mats so they could farm Duriel. They have all but one or all the Uber Uniques. Now, as far as duplication, I've never asked them, do you have duplicates? But so there's that first hurdle, which is the amount of time required to get enough mats to consistently farm Duriel. Okay. But then there's the issue that for the average player, the player that has 5-6 hours a week to play, how are they going to have the time, number one, to farm the mats required, let alone do Duriel enough that with the low percentage drop rate of the Uber Uniques, what they have, how are they going to get an Uber Unique? And how long do you think it's going to take them not only to get an uber unique, but to get a duplicate. So kind of SMH moment right here when I read this. Pally over here jumps in and says, I can't even loot an uber unique in the first place. More importantly, I think we should get something to do with the amount of normal uniques that we don't use, because after 50-ish kills, I didn't see any so far. So here's a guy that looks like has ran Duriel 50 times and has gotten this many uber uniques. 50. I know players, and I have read on social media, vis-a-vis X or Reddit, that there are players that have ran Duriel 200 times, 500 times, 600 times with this many uber uniques. But I'm going to touch on that topic later on in the video. This leads me to my final take on this whole thing. First of all, regarding the patch and the buffing of all the skills of the Seneschal, what a mechanic, that to have a companion that can literally like kill Duriel in like 3 seconds. Now, I have to say, if the Diablo 4 dev team can somehow put in a patch where the Seneschal can go out on its own and farm the mats for these poor players that want to get one uber unique drop, so they can farm Duriel over and over. Maybe to a personal request to the Diablo 4 dev team, why don't you guys make it so players can AFK, send their Seneschal out to farm mats for the Duriel fight? Because nobody, like the majority of players, are not going to have duplicate uber uniques. Not with the current drop rate for uber uniques, and not for the mammoth mountain of time players have to put in to farm the mats to fight Duriel. Those are two big stopgaps that just prevent the majority of the player base to actually even think about getting a duplicate uber unique. So that's the negative take on this. The positive take on this, if this was a normal game with normal tendencies and normal mechanics and not delay tactics all over the place, if this was a normal game and the developers put mechanics in the game to incentivize gameplay, incentivize grinding and gearing up, if it was that type of game, then I would be applauding this move, because it sounds like potentially some sort of crafting system may be coming to the game. And if that's the case, then major applause. But that's not the game. That's not D4 right now. D4 is a abyss of waste of time when it comes to farming, when it comes to getting gear, especially when it comes to getting uber uniques. You're better off going and buying a lottery ticket. You have a better chance of winning a lottery than getting an uber unique. At least that's my impression from not only the feedback of the players that I know, but also online. So from that perspective, regarding the Seneschal, dev team, make it so these poor players don't have to do these time-wasting mechanics. Delay tactics. You put this in the game for one reason only. And this leads me to my second point of what is going on here with, hey guys, don't toss your duplicate uber uniques. Well, the sinister person in me has the following, because let's face it, again, I've said this in all my videos, a good indication of the future is what has been done in the past. So my opinion on why the dev team is doing this can only be formulated on the foundation of what they've done in the past. I hope that makes sense, because this is why I'm going to have the opinion that I have right now. In the past, every single step, every single patch, every single move this Diablo 4 dev team has done has been nothing but to delay, to nerf, and once an uproar starts, they go and they undo their mistake, and they buff the crap out of everything, and then everybody's a little bit happy again. But it's band-aids, band-aids, band-aids. But get back to my point about why would they come out with this? Well, there's two reasons why. Obviously, they may be coming out with crafting. I don't know. We'll see. And if that's the case, that's great, like I said before. However, I believe there's a sinister backhanded move here. And what do you mean by that, Sammy? What do I mean by that is they know people have given up farming Duriel. It's just too time consuming. And unless you have 16, 17 hours a day to farm for the mats, because it's not the boss fight that's preventing people fighting Duriel. It's not. It literally takes 3 seconds to kill Duriel. Any kind of build can kill Duriel. That's worth its salt. It's players know the mountain they got to climb for the mats, right? They know that it takes forever to get the mats. So they don't want to do it, number one, or they just don't have the time. They don't have the time. You're gonna farm 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever, to fight Duriel once or twice and not get an uber unique. Why do it? So players have put their hands up and said, I'm not doing it. It's a waste of time. Here we go. And Diablo 4 dev teams in the back, they're looking at the stats. Wow. A lot of people aren't fighting Duriel. Why? Why? Okay, let's tease them and let's tell them, hey, don't throw away the uber uniques, the duplicates. Okay, so now this move, some players are going to be enticed by it. Oh my God, if I have duplicate uber uniques, I'm going to be able to potentially craft a hyper uber unique, an OP uber unique. You know, I don't know. Some players are going to bite on this and they're going to say, God damn it, I got to get back and start grinding the mats to fight the Duriel, sorry. It's not good, no matter what you think. And the only good thing about it is potentially some sort of crafting coming. And hopefully that bleeds into the rest of the game. But other than that, this is same old, non-creative, non-ingenuity. It's just they look at what are the problems with the game and they try to entice you and suck you in with another delay tactic. And at the end of the day, guys, I've been very consistent with my feelings of this game, and that is until they fix the big ticket items, all this is just a song and dance. I applaud if they are thinking about crafting and introducing crafting into the game. I applaud that. That's a good step. But this is another way of just putting blinders on and getting them at the crux of it is the fact that they are forcing us on how to play the game, if you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense. It's not like other games where you have options on what you want to grind, where you want to grind, what you want to grind for. There's no force mechanics in the popular games. You have options. You have variety in what you want to grind. Okay? But in Diablo 4, the dev team forces you into, you want stuff in this game? Well, you have to do this. And it's mind-dumbing activity, boring, chore. These are the words that if you go online and you read the feedback, this is what you hear. It's boring. It's dumb. It takes too much time. Why should I do it? I don't get the outcome that you're saying I could get. I never get it. So why should I do it? I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. Why should I do it? And then you buff things to You know, season 3 came out as a disaster. Everyone's complaining about the Seneschal. You don't even notice it. You don't even feel the thing. And then they go from 0 to 1,000 overnight. And the leaderboards, man. The leaderboards were what? We a couple of weeks into the new season. Nothing. We have heard this much about the leaderboards. This much. Still no idea what's going on with the leaderboards. No idea. Okay. That's the equivalent of, let's take a current event. The Super Bowl. Okay. Super Bowl's next week, right? The champions were determined last week. That's like the NFL not releasing the date of the Super Bowl when the two champions are going to play for the championship. That's the equivalent of this. Can you imagine if the NFL, you know, San Francisco and Kansas City have won their respective divisions and they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl, and the NFL says, yeah, the Super Bowl is going to be played this year in the next couple of, well, actually, we don't even know. Well, we do know it's going to be within the next 3 months. But can you imagine how the two teams would feel? And the two teams are the player base. They still have no idea when the Super Bowl is going to be. They just won the championship. They know the game's coming up, but they haven't been told by the NFL. Like, that's, you know, I hope that's an okay example. It's the first thing that came to my mind. It's the same thing here. Like, how do you not know when the leaderboards are coming? So anyway, delay, hide behind these mechanics, useless mechanics as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, we have these two updates with patch 1.3.1 now being live, and we have the PSA about don't throw away your duplicate Uber uniques. Okay, guys? Make sure you put them in your stash and do not trash them. Please. I know you're going to have a lot of them, so don't get rid of them. Something's coming down the pipe. And, well, at least they're keeping us informed from that perspective. And for those of you that are fortunate enough to have duplicate Uber uniques, hold on to them. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this. And as always, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And we'll hope to see you next time. Take care. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.